So yeah, no. If a woman is bisexual or homosexual or whatever that's not heterosexual, I try to avoid it.
Okay, why?
Number one,
Shit
because
for the streets.
oh, you think so? Talk to us.
I mean, to me, if you don't know what you want, you're bisexual, hetero, you're gonna be anything type of sexual because
Yeah, I
want
never heard it
sex.
like that. I like that you said anything
Wait,
type of sexual.
what if you
anything
no?
Said
sexual, is
anything
sexual.
sexual.
Don't you think that that's knowing though?
You
Like,
feel
don't you
me?
think that that's knowing what you like?
If you are
You like
in the
everything.
between, then you like. I mean, if you're bi, you don't bypass anything. You just go straight to it.
Dang.
So if you know what you want,
Yeah.
then you won't bypass the signs, and you'll just
Mm.
get straight to the point. So you don't have to be in danger. Straight up.
So, have you ever had any lesbian experience?
I wouldn't say I've had any lesbian experience. I would say I have tried something, seen
What
where
did you
this
try?
could go.
What'd you try?
Texting people that I shouldn't have been talking to. Or
Oh,
talking to people I shouldn't have been.
exactly.
That's how it always happens.
Have you ever kissed a girl? Have you ever kissed a girl?
Have you ever snuggled up with a girl?
Okay.
Have you ever snuggled up with a girl? Yes or no? Be for real.
Nah. Wait. Say that slower for me.
Have you ever snuggled up with a girl? Yes or no?
Have you?
Yeah, I sure have, and I fucking liked it. So I don't. That's why I'm asking
And
you.
you liked it.
Yeah, I did. I used to have myself a little girlfriend back in high school. So I want to
sure
know why
everybody
you're
did.
talking about.
I'm sure everybody did.
Okay,
But
so
it's
I'm
about
not
if you
confused.
really-
Has a woman ever touched your vagina?
With my permission.
Yes.
Or without.
Come on, we're not talking about that.
That's
That's
actually
not
talking
wrong.
about
That's
that.
No,
We're not
no.
talking about that.
that's a
we're not
really
talking about
good
that.
point that you bring up. No, we should address
because
that.
a lot
Yeah.
of times a lot of people don't understand
Okay.
boundaries.
I don't think
let's
we should
start-
talk
No,
about
we
non
should.
know what
No,
consensual.
we should actually.
I don't think we should.
We don't have to talk about it with you. Fair
we-
enough. But that's a really good point. So let's start on. Okay, so you said non-consensual. Has a female ever touched your vagina non-consensually?
Of course.
Really?
Okay.
Yes.
hmm Okay.
Yes.
And
I just wish that wasn't true.
And sometimes, like, that's why I always say one thing I will once say, Kendrick, favorite poet, stay humble. Because just because you graduated, that don't mean you go burn the school down. Don't go burn the school down because you graduated. You learned everything you need to know from the situation, got your certificate. It's still people in there learning. Now you're going to burn it down so they don't learn.
Now, what about consensually?
Yes.
Okay. You know what's funny is you said, well, consensually or non-consensually, but the answer was yes in both cases. So it's like almost not even necessary to.
Because at the same time, I feel like a lot of us hold standards to ourselves that we shouldn't. We should hold standards, but at the same time, we shouldn't beat ourselves up for mistakes we make because we're learning, because everybody comes from a different path of life.
So you think that your physical involvement with another female, it was a mistake?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a mistake, because at the same time, anything that you didn't know, once you go and learn about it, you learn from it. You know what I'm saying? You're either going to learn from it or you're going to keep repeating. And I always say this, everything is a cycle.
Have you ever heard that women never take accountability? So nothing that they do, they view as a mistake. Everything is healing.
I don't view it as a mistake. I don't take healing as a mistake
that's what I said. Women, because they're not prone to being honest or accountable, they never feel like anything is a mistake on their part. So it's always healing. Or
I'll say most women, not all.
I think that's what I said. It was most women.
Okay. Yeah. So I can agree with you.
Mm-hmm. Do you think there's a way to get females out of that once they're an adult? Obviously, we can raise girls with accountability. We can teach it and train them on that. But for women, do you think there's a way to get them to utilize more accountability?
Absolutely. The same way I feel like if I was to talk to anybody like a male figure, like my dad, uncle, brothers, anybody, cousins, if I was to want them to understand me, I would try to figure out stuff about them that I don't understand, because at the same time, that's a man and I've never been a man. I'm not born a man. You're not born a female. So whenever you hear the opposite sex trying to tell you about yourself or your sex, it can come off like, you're not even my sex. How can you tell me how I feel? So what if I told you you're not a man?
I would tell you to be silent because you're a silly female.
Exactly. That's triggering. Because
What's that?
anybody calling me a silly female, that
Yes.
means you take me as a joke. That means you think I'm funny. That means
That's why I started laughing.
I feel like so it's no point in me talking because
No, it is.
I may tell a
'cause it's
joke, but I never tell a
entertaining.
lie.
Who's the leader in the family, the male or the female?
The male, because he's the
Fair
head.
enough. Fair enough.
But what is the woman in
Who's
the situation?
who's the leader in the family? The male
so
or
you
the
couldn't even
female?
answer my
The male.
question, right?
The male?
Yes.
You're a
You can't
tricky
answer my
little
question,
devil.
but I
You're
answered
Talk to
a
me about
tricky
it. Talk to
little
me about it.
devil. What's your question?
What is the woman in the situation?
She is the woman.
She's not the neck.
She's there to
Well,
support.
there's no need to use when we say the man is the head, we're not speaking in the literal sense that we would then turn
But
around and
don't
call
you
the
say
woman the
you're
neck,
the head of your household?
which means leader. The word head means leader.
All right,
out
so
in
you're the
front.
leader,
Mhm.
and the follower follows your direction, which is the
They
neck,
should.
because your neck helps you direct your head. You use
I
your
think
neck to turn
you're-
your head this way, the right way.
You're digging a bit too deep into that metaphor.
I'm going exactly where it needs to be.
No, you're digging a
so
bit
you
too
could
deep.
understand.
And
actually
that's the
take in
problem
what I'm
today is
saying.
that women have too much to say and they have so little that they want to hear.
So we should just shut up and listen.
Not all the time, but a lot more than you do. Yes.
Okay, and I can without it coming off like that. I feel like you're saying
Mhm.
sometimes don't think you're big headed, and sometimes just listen to what you need to say. Right?
It's more so living in reality, and
Okay.
women often don't live in reality, so they all think that they're geniuses.
Mm-hmm.
And because they're so informed and genius, they have a lot to say because they're always trying to teach when they should probably do a little bit more listening and learning.
Exactly. Don't be as boastful.
Or just talkative in general.
For their safety and protection?
No, women are excessively safe. They're actually too safe, really. We really need to bring Vladimir Slapovich from Russia to come over here and set things right.
So somebody needs to put their hands on somebody in order for them to listen to what they're saying.
No,
Trump and Putin are close.
Just the unruly women. I think that the
Wow.
Taliban can teach us a lot.
You feel like I'm unruly?
I don't feel. It's not my feelings that would indicate that. It's observations.
Unruly.
Unruly for you, I think, is a strong word. I think there are other things that are going on with you. So, for example, when a woman has certain experiences, it breaks her in certain ways and it causes particular forms of psychosis to manifest. And then we observe that their thinking is even less linear. And most women are not linear logical thinkers anyways, but when they experience certain forms of trauma, especially in childhood, sexual abuse is one of the worst. Abandonment is also a bad one. These kind of things can cause the human being to crumble. And in particular, since we're talking about the human female, they're often undiagnosed and the world doesn't respond to them properly. So, for example, if you do you ever see a lot of homeless women? Not really. Do you see a lot of homeless men? Yes. Well, a homeless woman, if she's reasonably attractive, she can be mentally unwell and still function in the society because there's some dweeb that'll give her a roof over her head. There's some goofball that'll listen to the things she says, even though they're nonsensical. Whereas a male who's mentally unwell will be shunned by the society and treated according to his merit or lack thereof. So we're dealing with a society with a lot of mentally ill women who are untreated and they're walking around talking to themselves, saying things that don't make sense, and they're not getting the correct feedback because they have a vagina.
Okay. May I add to that?
Sure.
Because I heard exactly what you said.
Sure.
And I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong, but I would like to add to that. And that is most women that go through that situation. I will agree. But on the flip side, most men also go through a similar situation like that. But because we are in a society where women can be more vocal because we are more emotional, it kind of puts men's emotions on the back burner, which to men, that's not even important because you're more head forward and focused on the goal. So sometimes you put you should, but it can put your emotions on the back burner. And sometimes that's when you get the men that cry alone or and they'll say they're all right. And really they're breaking down, but you will never know because do they get that opportunity to express it in this world? Because if you
I'd rather not hear it. No, frankly, I'd rather
because
not
then
hear
you ain't being a man. Be a man.
That's correct. They should be men. Now, if they're boys, that's a different thing. So,
what are boys though? To me, boys
I'll tell
are
you
just
what a boy is.
like.
Are you asking me, or go ahead? Tell me. You're about to say.
I mean, I'm not a boy, but I grew up around a lot of men. So
Okay.
I see a lot of men do a lot of things in this world just to
You just said
cope.
you're going to tell me what boys are.
Boys are, I don't even know, how can I describe a boy? A boy is a boy. They're learning.
Okay.
They are always excited. They're always happy to go to the next thing. They're not worried about
So
emotions.
I'll
They're
tell
worried
you
about
this.
fun, right?
When you talk about men aren't able to express themselves,
I didn't say they're just not, but society doesn't allow it.
society
as much.
unfortunately does allow men to express themselves.
They
and
do, but
and they need to stop. They really need to stop. And
to
if
stop,
they do, they need to stop, and
men
they need to
stop
hold it in.
expressing how
That's
they feel
correct.
about.
They need to stop having so many feelings, most of which are fake and are
Okay.
representing their mental illness.
You know what?
If you're
I agree
dealing
with that
as a
to a certain
boy,
extent.
if you're raised up as a boy, you're
Okay.
raised strong. And if you have strength in the mind, the body, and the spirit, and you're mentally sound,
Mhm.
when you come into manhood, you will be able to deal with your own emotions, and you will be able to manage your own emotions. And if you're a real man, a great man, you'll even be able to manage the emotions of others. And that's when you can add value to the world, to your family, to the society. Now, if you're a weakling, mentally feeble, emotionally distressed all the time,
Mhm.
you are a burden to yourself and you're a burden to others, your family. You are no leader. So it is fine for a boy, someone who is not a man,
Okay.
to get help with their troubles and their traumas. But once you reach maturity, it is not your position to be the receiver of help. You are the one who may give help. You may give counsel. You may give leadership. And those males who don't ever reach that because they're weak, they deserve nothing.
They deserve nothing. Or okay, how about
I
this?
think that
I will
sounds
agree to a
great.
certain extent, because I feel like once the older you get doing the same thing as a boy, it gets old because you're still trying to keep yourself in a position as a boy, when all you have to do is go inside of what's going on with you and the stuff that you didn't get, that you are afraid to tell anybody, that you want to take to your grave, when you can really just go inside and find that, and then you can become that man if you really truly choose to do that. That's
You're
only
going to
up
naturally,
to you, though.
a male naturally matures into a man
Okay.
if he is not experiencing any perversion, meaning that his development and maturation is not interrupted
Right.
by various forms of abuse, by poor leadership, by misguidance, by sickness in the society. If it's not interrupted, he will naturally evolve into a man. Some males have their manhood interrupted by psychotic single mothers. They have it interrupted by an effeminate matriarchal society, by the decline of Western civilization that marginalizes males. So that's what interrupts it and causes them to be perverse and effeminate.
So if I was to say this for people that are from my side of town, you're basically saying that the reason that y'all are still little boys is because y'all really be mad at y'all mamas because of how she treated y'all, because of how
they're not
y'all
mad. They should be in some cases.
no. I'm gonna just call. I'm not. I don't even want to say it like that because I don't want to make it seem like y'all are mad. Because at the end of the day, I just want to say this before I say what I say.
Okay.
Anybody that went through anything as a child, it was never your fault because you were opened up to something that you weren't supposed to see at that age. You were not ready for. And so then your mind kind of contradicts itself and goes other places. So that's not your fault. But at the same time, as you get older, you have the responsibility and you have the will to take over your life and do what you need to do to make sure you better yourself. So at that point, nobody else, not even your mama and your daddy that's locked up, or your mama that pays bills how she pays bills, has anything to do with your grown self anymore. And that goes for women too. I agree. Exactly. It isn't that because who is to say if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be in a situation like that down the line, I'm saying. So it's like I'm not saying that I liked what I did. I'm not saying I didn't, but it taught me that where I really want to be.
Have you ever had a threesome?
Have you? Too long to answer.
Kind of.
Black and white, yes or no?
Some chicks tried to set me up for it. I just sat at my desk when I was eating cashews.
Yes or no?
So does that count? I was just eating cashews. They were going in on each other.
Were you there?
Yeah, I was right there.
Yes.
Okay. So have you ever had one?
Yes.
2 guys?
What? That's a train. That's not a threesome.
You're right. That is a train. Choo choo. All aboard.
Is 2 guys
Let
a
me
train?
grab my bag and leave.
Look at you. Look at
That's
her.
a small train.
Run, Forrest.
How many have you had?
Run.
2
2 guys?
at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever had more than that?
No.
Why you say oh Lord? Why you say oh Lord? So you had 2 of them going to town at once?
Yeah.
One on each end?
Yes.
Okay. Oh my Lord. How did that did you set that up or did they set that? How was that set up?
Honestly, it was totally equal.
Okay.
Like it just like landed in my lap. But I think they were talking about it first. It was great. They were best friends and they were so cute.
Oh, good Lord. Good Lord.
White guys with big dicks.
Oh my God. Oh. Oh.
Do you realize that you're the devil incarnate?
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Like, is that
Devil
acceptable these days?
Lucifer.
It was amazing. It was back in the day.
Just call me the Virgin Mary.
They were good. They had
Point.
big.
Because it's hell on earth.
They
Heaven is a state of
did.
I rebuke you. I rebuke you.
Rebuke me.
And, what else can I do other than rebuke?
Well, my
I gotta-
I was gonna ask you out
I
after
feel-
this.
You was gonna ask me out?
Yes. Should I
Damn,
not? Should I
damn.
not? Or should I?
Where's you gonna take? Was you gonna pay for the date?
I'll pay to take you
Okay,
out on a
okay,
date. I
all
totally
right,
will. I
okay.
think you're very different.
I appreciate that. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Let me buy you a
Yeah.
drink.
It's on her.
Okay.
I'm gonna take you home. With
It's getting crazy out here.
Shawty, what you think
It's
about?
good.
Show me. Show me.
It's
Show
getting
me.
crazy out here.